finished watching Lee Silber. What a great presentation. I haven't laughed that hard in so long and got a lot of great tips.
You know, your smartphone can also make you look like a quick thinker and really smart. If you use it to look something up real quick, or you have some things, notes in it that you could just kind of slyly look at and say, you know, and you look like you just thought of it. But I use the phone to take pictures of things, and I use them in my speeches, right? So I saw this at SeaWorld Drive. It used to say no U-turn. Now it says no you didn't. This was by the kids' school. Slow children at play. If that pedophile is chasing you, you need to be faster. Run, kids, run. We have all your back-to-school supplies. $7.99 for a 12-pack of Miller beer. You're going to make it. Parents, you can do this. If we can't make you look good, you ugly. If you're single, this is a good deal. Buy a bed and get a free one-night stand, right? I can see people buying 3 and 4 beds if you're lonely, right?
Everybody get up.
Well, the first place to start to become that super innovative, quick thinker, witty, funny, always, you know, off the cuff, think on your feet, problem solvers, MacGyver type. Well, the first thing is you have to understand the problem first before you can solve it. So being able to define what it is, when someone is describing it, listen intently. Try and absorb as much as you can, because when you are absorbed in listening to what people are telling you they need help with or what the problem is, and if you understand it, you have a much better chance at solving it. I think people who are positive come up with ideas quickly. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe in your ideas, and you have to surround yourself with people who are more interested in saying yes than no. No is an idea killer. Yes is a kind of an idea inspirer. I know that's not a real word, but it's, you know what I'm saying. And if you have time to complain about something, you had time to do something about it, right? People waste so much time complaining, that same amount of time could have been spent coming up with a solution. Now, whenever I have a problem, I just sing, because my voice is worse than the problem. And so it makes it seem less of a problem. Start with small, manageable problems, and start with little things that you can change to practice your ability to think on your feet. Maybe every day you change your screensaver. Maybe you have a different salutation than when someone says, "How you doing?" I'm all right. Right? What about, "I feel great, I'm fit." No, that sounds like you're on drugs. "I'm great," right? That's better. Something that's positive, different. Maybe even change your outgoing voicemail every day. This woman said, "I'm not available right now. I'm busy making changes in my life. Thank you for calling. Leave a message. If I don't call you back, you are one of those changes." Think on your feet. When you trust your instincts, you go with your gut, usually you get a good answer. And be prepared. It's funny, some people look so quick. Oh my goodness, how did they think of that so quick? Because they're prepared. They've got zingers ready. They have done their homework. Be that person. You're ready. You're running what-if scenarios. You're thinking about what might come up. And you're kind of thinking what I might say or what might happen if I called you up on the stage right now. But I'm not, so just relax. But recycling is an example of somebody that just sees something and says, "You know what, I have another use for this, another way we could do it." My dad would take an old soda bottle and it would become a sprinkler system. I'm like, that's cool. Just reach in the trash, pull it out. I'm like, so proud of my dad. Yeah, it's great. But it worked. Other times I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea, Dad. And then sometimes I'm just like, really? This is who we are as a family? A lot of people say, "I'm going to get organized this spring," right? And they think about organizing, but they don't do anything. That's Zen Organizing, right? I like what's called the shavunda. Sounds like a Yiddish term. The shavunda. No, it just means someone's coming to your house, you shove stuff under the bed, you shove it under the car, you shove it under the closet. I learned how to be a quick thinker from my father. I would always look at him and say, "How do you do that? He would just, out of nowhere," but he was very successful in business. And just always had ideas. He would invent something and then just take it to market. And I would just admire it. I couldn't figure it out. I thought, is it in my DNA? And it wasn't. I had to learn how to do it by watching him. A lot of these skills, I just observed him apply these in his life and in his business, and he was an amazing person. He was my hero. And so I worked with my father. I worked for my father. We worked side by side. I was the oldest of 3 sons, very close with my dad. And one day he was cutting the trees away from the house to try and not have to pay the painters to do it. And he fell off his ladder, and he landed on his side, and he just could not move or breathe. But he wouldn't go to the hospital. So my brothers and I, we were quick thinkers. We kidnapped him in his pajamas on a Friday, and we took him to the hospital, Sharp. And they ran a bunch of tests, and we thought for sure he'd broken a rib or punctured a lung. And they came back and said, nope, your father has stage 4 lung cancer and has maybe 3 days left to live, and that's it. And so what I did was I wrote down all these things that I loved about my dad and all the things I remembered, but also I thanked him for teaching me the most important skill in life, I think, is to be able to solve problems. That's what people pay for. That's what people want. People want problem solvers, and I learned that from my father, and I thanked him for that. So I was going away for a speech. So Friday he was diagnosed, and Sunday I left on a plane, and the last thing I ever said to my father is, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll rush back as soon as I can. And he had passed away that night. And so I always tried to show my dad, hey, I want to be like you, Dad, and I would try and use what I'd learned from him and apply it. And I had a lot of success at a young age. You heard from Stephanie in my introduction, a lot of success, but my dad never acknowledged it, never once said, I'm proud of you. You've done great, son. Not once. Well, at his celebration of life, somebody came up to me and pulled me aside, a friend, and said, you know what? Your dad was so proud of you. He admired, of all things, your ability to think fast. I wish he would have told me. I wish I would have heard it from him, but I did finally hear it. When we get together, a group like this, all of us in the same industry, the meeting industry, when you leave today, tell someone I enjoyed your company, I admire what you do, not in a creepy way, but and make it known that we're all in this together. And if you can't think of an idea, connect with somebody. Grab a business card, get an email address, and you could brainstorm, whether you're in Orange County or San Diego or San Francisco. Keep that connection going, because that's where quick thinking can really help, when you connect with somebody else who gets it, like the people in this room. So when you think about what audience would a speaker want to speak to, this is the ultimate audience. Meeting planners are the greatest. So I toast you. You were a fantastic audience. Thank you so much for letting me close out your conference. I appreciate it. Thanks.